It was a cold morning in early October when news broke across the United States. The nation was on the brink of an unprecedented event, a possible default on its debt. Who would imagine the world's largest economy could face such a crisis? The capital, Washington, D.C., buzzed with tension as leaders scrambled to find a solution. The date was October 5th, and the world watched closely, wondering what would happen next. The heart of the problem was simple yet terrifying. The government had reached its borrowing limit and could no longer pay its bills without raising the debt ceiling. Politicians from both sides argued fiercely over the terms, delaying critical decisions. Markets dipped, people worried about their savings, and everyday Americans felt unsure about the future. As the deadline approached, suspense grew. Would Congress act in time to prevent disaster? At last, after countless hours of debate and public pressure, a breakthrough emerged. Leaders agreed on a compromise that raised the debt ceiling just in time. The default was avoided, but the close call reminded everyone of the fragile balance behind the scenes. Though relief swept the nation, questions lingered. How would Americans ensure this never happened again? The near default taught a lesson about unity, responsibility, and the power of timely decisions in preserving a nation's trust. In the heart of America, during the early 2020s, a silent unease settled over communities. For decades, the nation had prided itself on unity and progress, but now many citizens began to question the institutions that once seemed unshakable. Who could they trust when leaders argued, news felt biased, and promises often went unfulfilled? Sarah, a school teacher in a small town, noticed this growing mistrust among her neighbors and students. Conversations at the local diner often spiraled into frustration over the government, the media, and even neighbors. The roots of this skepticism stretched deep. Centuries of conflicting interests, broken promises, and social struggles had frayed the nation's social fabric. One day, Sarah organized a community meeting to face this issue. People shared stories not of headlines, but of personal experiences where trust had been broken. Debate was fierce yet honest. Slowly, they began to realize that distrust wasn't just about others failing them. It was also about losing faith in themselves and each other. By the evening's end, the community agreed on a simple truth: rebuilding trust would require listening more, expecting less perfection, and working together despite differences. Though the American nation's trust issues were complex and long-standing, Sarah and her neighbors understood that healing started with small acts of honesty and empathy. In that moment, hope sparked not as a grand solution, but as a quiet, shared commitment to try again. Trust, they learned, was fragile but not lost, still waiting to be mended one conversation at a time.